Hi, I'm Darren and welcome to New Factory Classics. Today we're going to break down Dune, Part 2. Welcome back to Arrakis. The Harkonnen have taken out House Atreides, have control over the mining fields and all military power on the planet. Pretty good for a bunch of guys with the disease from the movie Powder. The Emperor has gone silent since the fall of House Atreides. He regrets having to take them out, but they had gotten too powerful. He knew this would happen, but there's a difference between knowing the path and walking it. The remaining members of House Atreides have gone native. They have joined the domestic terrorist militant group, the Fremen. The Harkonnen are trying to wipe out the Fremen. They have the helicopters, they have guns, and they have that floating candy from the Willy Wonka movie. Paul and his mother are taken to a Fremen refuge that's also a temple. Half the people believe that they're outsiders that need to be shunned, and the other half believe that he might be the Lisan al-Gaib, a prophet from space that's basically Space Jesus. Now, Stilgar actually believes that Paul is the Lisan al-Gaib. He is a religious fundamentalist that believes everything that the Bene Gesserit has said. The Bene Gesserit came to this planet thousands of years ago to lay down the prophecy and lead people towards what would eventually become the arrival of Paul Atreides. Jessica, Paul's mother, has been nominated to become the new Reverend Mother, the leader of the Bene Gesserit for the local Fremen. But first she must drink the water of life, a blue liquid that is mined from the bodies of dead baby worms. But the water of life didn't just give her memories of the past, it also damaged her unborn daughter. If you think drinking alcohol while you're pregnant is bad, imagine drinking the memories of 67,000-year-old women. Paul refuses to believe the rumor that Stilgar is putting out that he's the Lisan al-Gaib. He doesn't want to be anyone's savior, he just wants to be the warrior that he needs to be to get revenge for his father. But that's exactly what the Lisan al-Gaib would say, eh, Stilgar? To prove that he is the prophet, Stilgar sends Paul out into the desert, for only the prophet could survive for a day all by himself out in the desert, throwing the baby into the pool to see if they can swim, except that the pool is all sand. Chani is worrying that he is going to die out in the desert, so she secretly follows him and even trains him how to walk correctly to not summon a sandworm. It's the Dune version of going on your first date to Chili's. The Harkonnen have restarted spice mining now that House Atreides has been taken out. Things are going well until they are attacked by a bunch of Fremen who destroy their mining machines. What kind of world is it when the white man can't steal your natural resources? Paul is slowly becoming Fremen. He has a Fremen name, he's learning Fremen tactics, and even sleeping with a Fremen girl. He's slowly getting his peace, his purpose, his euphoria. The Harkonnen are pissed that they keep losing all their mining machines to these guerrilla tactics. And so, the general, or head flying whale, sends Beast out for one last time to solve this problem. And if he fails, he will be banned from any future bathing in the La Brea tar pits. The final test to become Fremen is here. Paul must summon a worm, jump on the worm, ride on the worm, and hook onto it. It's basically something the size of a strip mall going 30 miles an hour, but this is something he must do to prove he's one of them. Paul's mother, who's no longer employable in the service sector, heads south via giant worm, and she uses it like a bus. It's never explained how all those people got on, being that it moves 30 miles an hour, how they got their luggage on, how they really control it, and it's definitely not explained how they get off. To prove that he's still worthy, Beast leads a counterattack against the Fremen, and he goes all out, but unfortunately he learns that you don't attack sand people in the middle of a sandstorm, and his army gets their asses kicked. Meanwhile, at the capital, the Emperor, his daughter, and the head Bene Gesserit are realizing that things are not going well on the planet Arrakis. But there is a second possible leader that can take on Paul Atreides. It's Feyd, the nephew of Baron of Harkonnen, and even though he's crazy and a murderer, he's the one that the Bene Gesserit want to use to take on Paul. Now, Feyd may like to kill his handmaidens for fun, but today is his birthday, so he's going to be able to kill some slaves inside of a giant arena to impress his flying whale uncle. Feyd and his uncle have other plans too. They plan on taking out the Emperor and putting Feyd on the Emperor's throne himself. But what they don't know is that the Bene Gesserit have even secret plans for them, and they send 007's girlfriend to sleep with the beluga whale. On one of their standard attacks of a spice mining machine, The Fremen end up running into Paul's old teacher, Gurney, who survived the slaying of House Atreides. He wants to get his vengeance on the Harkonnen just as bad as Paul, because as you know, vengeance is balance. Gurney wants Paul to use House Atreides' secret nuclear arsenal to wipe out the Harkonnen and the Emperor, because there's no better way to save a planet than nuking the crap out of it. Fade arrives on the planet and, unlike his brother, actually wins against the Fremen. He wipes out their temple and slays thousands of Fremen. And he proves one thing: you don't need skin pigment to unleash fury. Despite repeated dreams that if he were to go south, he would become a brutal dictator, Paul heads south to become a brutal dictator. While everyone else heads to the War Council, Paul heads to drink the water of life, which may be lethal for any normal man, but not for a god twink. Paul dies instantly from drinking the water of life, but just like the normal Jesus, Space Jesus comes back to life and is more powerful than ever. The water of life reveals a secret to Paul. His mother is actually the secret daughter of the Baron, making him the Baron's grandson and cousin to Fade. But more crazily, it makes you wonder how the floating whale ended up actually having sex. In front of millions of Fremen, Paul calls them weak, spits on their culture, and announces himself their new ultimate leader. He promises that he will take them all the way north to kill the Harkonnen, and then even to space to take them to the Promised Land. It's a wild sales pitch, but he gets them to listen to him. Paul calls out the Emperor for killing his father. He demands that he shows up to Arrakis and to meet with Baron Harkonnen and himself in the same chamber. His plan is to kill the Emperor and the Baron at the same time, wiping out all of his enemies in a single blow. The Emperor arrives in Arrakis and demands more information about the prophesized warrior that he's about to meet with. He needs more information, more, he states. And the only known cure is more cowbell. Paul nukes a hole in the mountains defending the Emperor's palace. The final battle for Dune has begun. The defenses of the Emperor's flying Bass Pro Shop pyramid are nothing compared to the armies of the Fremen. Paul breaks through quickly and ends up slaying the Baron in front of the royals. Paul offers to the Emperor to marry his daughter, the princess, which is a direct blow to his girlfriend Chani, who's standing right behind him. But ultimate power in the universe and a Bene Gesserit wife sound way better than sleeping in a tent in the sand forever. But first, Paul must fight his crazy cousin to death. Only one general that's a mass murderer can get the hand of the princess. They have an amazing hand-to-hand knife fight, two men that trained their whole lives to do this exact battle. Paul is stabbed once in the stomach and once in the shoulder, but somehow grabs a knife and stabs his cousin straight through the heart. Paul Atreides has won. The Emperor kisses Paul's ring. Paul is the new Emperor, and he took the Emperor's daughter to be his new bride. Chani is heartbroken and she runs off. She was just dumped for a girl that has a headdress made out of a bunch of scissors. Well, Paul is off to start a holy space war and lead the Fremen to paradise. It's time to leave Dune. And now I have seen it, so you don't have to. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.